What up, people? I welcome you back to OG Studios. And you know how we do it. Yeah. I'm back again to serve you all the thrilling and very informative news. And today, yeah, day before yesterday, Cheddar, known as Nana Kwame Bediako. In fact, let me add Osajefo Nana Kwame Bediako. Yeah, leader of the New Force Party, decided to bring out his manifesto. Bro, this guy manifesto is well structured, like in his own words. He said this is the blueprint to freedom for Ghana. And bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. I want to summarize everything because it's a long video, over 1 hour plus. But I'm here to give you a full summary in 10 minutes. Yeah, in 10 minutes. What he said, I'm just wrapping it up in 10 minutes so that you can understand it better. He named it the manifesto, the 12 pillars for economic freedom, because he's here to make Ghana a better place. He's here to make Ghana become that country we all want to live in. And for me, watching this full 1 hour video is making sense than Bawumia and Mohammed's manifesto joined together. This is far much better. You can see that he has sat down, strategically planned out everything, and he even made us aware that this is not a 4 year job. What he has planned, his manifesto, is not a 4 year job. It's a 10 years estimated job. That one is estimated 10 years, bro. And with everything, every right now that we have 16 regions in Ghana, every region has its own set of hey, let me clap for this guy. Manifesto move him. It makes sense. Now, let me summarize everything. Yeah, in 10 minutes. This 10 minutes video I watch, I'm summarizing everything.
The gods, your fathers survived in the 500 BCs. We are going to create the National Sovereign Wealth Fund. This is the new IMF. Well, at this very point, Ghana is going to help me launch the new IMF because verbally it said, but physically and mentally, we are about to implement it. This pillar is a new policy and it would disrupt, and dissolve. But eventually, it will rebuild our heritage value. In the past, our minerals have been extracted and exported for pennies. We're ending it. The National Sovereign Wealth Fund is the new IMF, independent and autonomous. It will collect every reserves and it will keep it and it will protect it. Would nobody have to pretend you're not accountable or responsible for our own anymore because now it's secured within the National Fund. And if anybody needs anything within the ministries or the government, let them go to the fund and they will know this fund has more wealth than IMF or the World Bank can ever give them. And they will know it all came from these grounds. It's the reserves, your gold, your cocoa, your 100 years of seedling banks, your tax reserves. Feed the fund. 100 million barrels of oil, 100 years of seedling reserves. All of this is going to be in the wealth fund of Ghana. Now, let me tell you the interesting thing about the tax reserves. To increase our reserves, we decided that we're going to minimize the corruption in the tax sector. Because you can see the 12 ministries. Apostolic governance, it's a title, it's some title right here. But it's the 12 ministries. They say less is more. Our government will be the leanest, most efficient in the ownership and control. We need this. We need ownership and control. We have to own the academies, own the music catalogs, and own the distribution power. How are we going to do this? Let's start by the sports. I mean, first of all, everybody watches football from outside every day, and they actually depend on it. But hey, we can invest in the sports sector, basketball, lawn tennis, and boxing, and etc. Well, this is our plan. First, we're going to build 16 multifunctional sports academies in all the regions, because we don't know where Ronaldo is, we don't know where Messi is. You can find them in any of the region, and therefore we're not going to discriminate. We make sure that there are academies to search for these talents everywhere in Ghana, and we're going to nurture them, grow them, own them, and they also have to own us. Now, what happens when we build these multifunctional sports academies? You see, it attracts something. It attracts educational investors, where they come to yourself to the academies, and your child might be in the academy, but there is an education to support them, so they just don't become a footballer without knowledge, or they just don't end up with their knowledge in their foot. They have to also learn about their country and their resources and what they can create. It will also, obviously, apart from the educational facilities, I believe that there could be other things that it will attract in every region to discover more talent. But the point is, we're trying to breed athletes, world-class stars, because they contribute to our economy. One artist can bring billions home in value through endorsement and many things, but we have to start nurturing them now. We have to start building all these platforms and bringing them out from Ghana, and even finding more beyond our borders. But remember, this is not only about the money. The grand agenda in this is introducing African unification. Is going to start from Ghana. We would be the first people to start the project USA, United States of Africa, by people joining us, and we welcoming them through our borders, but also they will be investing on our lands. See, we're about to initiate a borderless continent, and trade will come through, investment will come through. Our neighboring countries will join us. We're about to join hands. We're about to have an entangled economy that cannot be broken anymore, that cannot be separated anymore. See, we have been regionally separated by borders, and internally we have been separated by tribes. Once now you have the water connecting, we're coming together by tribes. Once now we have the borderless continent, we're coming together by countries. This is about to end. We are going to import our talents and skills from across Africa. Everywhere. In fact, Niger, I know you're watching me in Nigeria. We are coming for you. I know. Just you, Nigeria, if I decide that 1 million of you should invest in my country passport, you will bring the money in 5 days to Ghana. You would give us 50 billion more, and I promise you, we will trade with you in logistics. The railway network is part of our vision. Our vision is to develop a comprehensive railway network exceeding 8,000 kilometers. That is 1.5 million tons of steel. It will be very difficult to import this from outside. That's why we have our eyes on the iron ore in the Industrial Revolution, and some is in the eastern and some are other parts of Ghana. We will be able to manufacture our own steel and create that 8,000 kilometer railway track that will cost us billions of dollars if we have to give it out on contract. And connect and build the eastern corridor, the western corridor, and guess what? The gist of this vision is to also drive the railways to the 3 borders that faces Ghana. The one in Togo, the one in Burkina Faso, and the one to Ivory Coast. When it gets to the edge, we stop. That is us creating new transportation and logistical path and not remain on the colonial roads that was built for us. Now we're making our own paths to distribute our own goods. But when it gets to the border, the government of that country is responsible to continue. This is going to give us a railway and a speedway around West Africa. Once every country continues from there. Well, I'd like to tell you something. It's likely when we get to the border, Ghanaians will be contracted to continue the railways. Because guess what? We will have the steel, we will have the skills. Just like what the English did to Europe. Once you have the skills, once you have the funds, and once you have the reserves and you have industrial power, you're in control. And so, this is our plan for Pillar 2. And as you can see, the water connectivity is important and the railway connectivity is coming to that. Now, the moon needs the sun to shine. But with all the reserves, there's one thing that I would like to add. And I know we probably never thought of it. But why do we buy money? Why do we have to go to England or go to Switzerland, to Delarue, to print our money? And after we fly or ship the money, before we have money? What happened to the industrial power that we're creating now? We are going to print money at home. We don't need to go to England or America to print money. We don't need to go anywhere else to go and buy food and bring it here. We don't need to pay 7 times the taxes of whatever that is already in our country and someone has just packaged it. We go and buy it for premium price and bring it back here. That stops because we are going to create it here. Now that we have more reserves, and have even cash reserves, what is next? Fellow Ghanaians, I like to say this. Pillar 5, because we didn't even build the machine. Today, the New Falls have decided to build the right machine for pushing the Publishing Act that protects the IP of our content creators. I mean, you're talking from bloggers to influencers to YouTubers, authors, painters, musicians, music softwares and filmmakers and software licenses, all of this. We have to protect it. We have to claim the royalties. And we have to make sure that it's circulating in our economy because they're part of us. You know, to allow artists to hold on to their catalogs such that they're not sold for patents. That's one. 2, we need to build a world-class studio. Ghana is the black star of Africa. This studio needs to be in Ghana. We need to build that studio. But with all the reserves, there's one thing that I would like to add. And I know we probably never thought of it. But why do we buy money? Why do we have to go to England or go to Switzerland, to Delarue, to print our money? And after we fly or ship the money, before we have money? What happened to the industrial power that we're creating now? We are going to print money at home. We don't need to go to England or America to print money. We don't need to go anywhere else to go and buy food and bring it here. We don't need to pay 7 times the taxes of whatever that is already in our country and someone has just packaged it. We go and buy it for premium price and bring it back here. That stops because we are going to create it here. Now that we have more reserves, and have even cash reserves, what is next? Fellow Ghanaians, I like to say this. Pillar 5, it's
The first pillar he named 16 Regional Industrial Revolution, into bracket, the rebirth of Ghana. And in the first pillar, he said he will be building 32 industrial processing plants and also industrial agro. He will be building 32 industrial processing plants in the 16 regions, which means every region is going to have 2 industrial processing plants in the region. And out of this 32, 16 of them are going to be agro-industrial, and the next one is going to be industrial mineral, which means his focus is on the agriculture sector and the mineral sector. Bro. And he even gave us a video. He showed us a video of how wealthy each region and what type of minerals we are able to get out of each region. And apart from that, how many jobs that particular region can generate if what he has planned to do for Ghana is being implemented. And the whole Western region, in its own way, the Western region is the most wealthiest region in West Africa, if he's not wrong, with $419 billion worth of minerals. And if they are to exploit and take out all these things, minerals, not only it being the mineral, the gold and bauxite, lithium, the aspect, even the agriculture aspect, because the Western region has everything. So to help, is going to make sure that all these things is being built there so that jobs can be created out of this. Let's go to the second pillar. The second pillar he named Ghana's first water transportation and sub-regional railways. Second pillar. This he got to a time during when he was being asked and he was touring. Now when he decided to show his face as the new force, he said people were saying that he said he's going to bring the sea to Kumasi. How is he going to do that on the Promeko Kumasi Dente? Now he gave us a detailed explanation. He showed us the Ghana map, showed us how the River Pra is being connected straight to the coast, to the Gulf of Guinea. And through this process, we can be able to map out what name did I forgot the name he gave to it. We are going to create roads so that the ships that are sailing, they can build mini harbors in between these regions. And this thing is going to be connected to the upper part of the country. Bro, he did not only end there. He even emphasized on the railway system. And with the way he has structured everything, there's no way you can jump from the first pillar to go implement the second pillar without implementing the first pillar, because they all have a link and it's carefully planned and structured. Bro, it's very, very, very detailed. He's going to build railways, and with how he's going to be able to build those railways are from the minerals that we'll be getting from this place, the iron, so that we can be able to create tons of iron steels, to be able to map out all this so that train can be accessible. You can travel by train to every part of the region. This train will end at the borders of the country, so that if our neighboring country decide to continue, then we know that now we can now travel to a different country by train. Bro, which kind of manifesto be this? If not from a thinkful and impactful and a visionary leader. With the third one, he focused, third pillar, he said his focus was on the energy city and technology hub. And with this, he's going to make sure that more wind farms and solar farms are being produced in the country to aid the saving of electricity. And he's planning, when he's being voted into power and when he starts this 10 years journey, he's going to make sure Ghana now draw energy from nuclear energy, which he said will be possible by the help of other people and other staffs. He's going to make sure that we will be energy efficient to the extent that we can be able to help neighboring countries to be able to, we can sell to them to get money to invest into the country. And with the technology aspect, he said more technology hubs are going to be built, so that these phones and stuff that some people are doing outside and will all be done here. And so that we can be able to store data and stuff. They moved to the fourth pillar. He talked about reserves. He said, how can we claim that we have gold fields are able to produce over 300 tons of gold for exportation, but Ghana does not have a reserve, a gold reserve. So when it comes, it's going to make sure we have a gold reserve for all our minerals, food reserve, seedling reserve, to the extent that even tax reserve, so that all these things can be, because he even made a statement that even the ant knows how to reserve food and store food, so that when in times of crisis, he can lean back on this. That is the kind of Ghana he wants to build. He wants to build a Ghana so that these gold and things that will be collecting, will be taken from our lands, will not only just be there. We'll create reserves that these things can be stored into, so that for future use, when we need them, we can go for it and use them. Bro, that is the whole summary of the fourth pillar. If you want the detail, you can watch the live streaming on Joy News and other most TV platforms broadcasted it. So you can check on their live stream and watch the main video. Then he went to the fifth pillar. The fifth pillar, he said he was going to create a national sovereign wealth fund, which is a replica of the IMF, so that look at the strategy, so that from the reserve, anything that goes there and everything that we dig from the ground, whatever we use, whether we sell it or not, all this money is going to be collected and be kept at this national sovereign wealth fund, so that anytime you need it, anytime any ministry need it, they can go there and ask, oh, this is what we want, this is our budget, and blah blah blah, so that this money can be allocated to them and supervised, so that the work will be done. Bro, it's taking us back to Susu, so that we can keep our own things. Then the sixth pillar, he said he's going to introduce the Senate revolution. Senate revolution, in the term that the Senate, we know that in Ghana we pay Senate staff, and before you can get that Senate money back, unless you are on your pension or staff, he's going to change that policy. He's going to make sure now the Senate, whenever you start paying the Senate from 5 years on, you can go and claim your money. In terms of crisis, he's going to make sure the Senate is going to turn into an insurance Senate, so that you can go to the hospital for health service, so that it won't be like you go to the hospital, they'll be like, let's you bring the money before we'll take care of you. But rather, they'll take care of you, and if you are not able to pay, they can go rely on your Senate because we are working. Then they can start dating some amount of money from there to they are able to cover. Same as you can go there if you are homeless and you want a place in terms of any emergency, educational purposes too. This was the sixth pillar, which is very, very strong. It's going to change to a national insurance fund, so that we can always rely on this money. You won't wait till you are on your pension. You won't wait, because some people even die and don't get their pension. They don't even get it. Then the seventh pillar was industrification, which is industrialization and education fused together. He's going to make sure the Western way of learning is going to be minimized, if possible, taken out of the curriculum. Why should you be studying Western curriculums and stuff whilst industrialization is going on? He said something that really caught my attention and got me wondering, that with all this cocoa, the iron and stuff that is being gotten from our soil, you go to school and you are not even taught how these things are being processed to the finished product, especially the cocoa. We all eat chocolate, and we know that cocoa is used to manufacture chocolate, but you never have an idea of how the processing is like. So for him, when it comes, he's going to make sure whilst you are learning, it won't only be about educating yourself with the books and stuff, but industrialization will be attached to that. By the time you spend that 21 years of completing school from crèche to the university, you can be a self-made boss, instead of going to chase after government works, which you might end up not getting. This is a visionary leader speaking. That was what he said with the seventh pillar. Now, moving to the eighth pillar, he stressed on environmental and human rights protection. Environmental rights protection, in the sense that our good, our water bodies, which are being destroyed, we can be our own protectors, because we have commissions that go around taking taxes from people instead of them protecting it. So with this right, he's going to make sure he enforces them. He enforces them so that we can be able to protect what belongs to us. We can be able to protect our environment and all. Then the human rights, that it shouldn't be that the person, the ages that someone must get to be able, the voices of the youth need to be heard. Even though we preach democracy, but voices of people are not being heard. So when he's being voted into power, he's going to make sure he enforces the laws so that the voices of the street, the voices of the youth will be heard, because we are the generations, we are the new people. We are the new people. We are the new people. So that anything that we, that is even the 8th pillar, because and he made it clear that there's no way you can jump from pillar 1 to implement pillar 6. It is a systematic blueprint that has been created, mapped out to help Ghana. Then he moved on to the 9th pillar, which is the apostolic governance. The apostolic governance, where he's going to be working with only 12 ministers. 12 ministers out of the here we have in parliament, we have in the ministry, that we don't even know the kind of work that they are doing. They are riding in big Land Cruisers and stuff. He's going to cut them short to 12 and make sure that 12, they all, you can be able to check them. There's going to be checks and balance among all these ones. And these were the ones he stated. He said he was going to make sure he worked with the financial, Ministry of Finance, Trade, Education, Agriculture, Foreign Affairs, Interior, Tourism, Business and Employment, Energy, Health, and Justice. These are the ministries he's going to be working with, because these are the most needed ones, and most of the time we overlook. One that we most of the time overlook, because Ministry of Finance is going to help. We cannot, it shouldn't be like we will always go there to take money to do something, but rather we can be also able to go there to invest. Ministry of Trade to help when the industrialization is going on and our gold and stuff are being in the system. This Ministry of Trade are going to make sure that every trade that goes out and in of the country is monitored. The right things are being scheduled. Ministry of Education, which is already, agriculture to enforce, because many people are farmers, but they lack things that are good materials that are going to help. Then he went to the 10th pillar, which he said is his personal favorite, even though most of the pillars are his favorite. He's going to make sure Ghana is able to raise its first $50 billion to be able to build the country. This money is not going to be collected from IMF, from anybody. He's going to build it. He's going to raise this fund from people, from Africans, by giving citizenship to investors, selling citizenship to investors, African investors who want to invest in the country, and give them a price that if you are able to invest this $5,000 into the country, this is what you get. These are the privileges you get. And this is, even if he gets 1,000 people to invest 5,000 each into the country, that would be 50,000. That would be 50 billion. Yeah, that would be 50 billion. That would be 50 billion. And he knows there will be more, because his implementation, when I heard this one, I was like, hey, what a strategy. What a strategy. Mind busting. Which is going to help in the development of the country. Then he went to the 11th one, which is national security and data protection. He said when it comes to power, he's going to make sure we protect our data. Protect our data with blockchains and Web3s and stuff. Because right now, we are entering into a digitalization world where everything is going to be digital. And without industrialization, there cannot be digitalization. This is where he's going to make sure that every data that belongs to the Ghana, whether the trade, when you go to the hospital and they need your records, everything is going to be stored on a database. Hence, he's going to make sure that he build data collecting machines to be able to collect all these data, so that we can be able to mine cryptocurrencies and stuff, so that because the world is moving fast into digitalization, so we need to tap into that. How will you feel if you go to the hospital and when you are being transferred to another hospital, automatically your files are already there? Every detail that the doctors will need to be able to work on you is already available. Bro, this is so brilliant, and this is how it's going to end. All this data is going to be accessible to the public in Ghana, so that you know how much the reserves in Ghana, how much gold is being stored there, how much is everything can be public to the Ghanaians. Yeah. And to his last and final pillar, the last pillar, he emphasized on the sports and equity fat industry. And with the plan and structure laid down for this particular aspect, bro, this guy knows how to bring money into the country. He said he's going to make sure that he builds a studio. And we talk about studio, it's not just a film studio, the Hollywood standard. We see that if you have ever been to Hollywood before, most of the movies you see here, most of them are green screens and stuff. That is the type of studio he wants to build in this country, so that it's going to attract investors, so that Ghana can be able to partner with the likes of Sony, Columbia Pictures, Paramount Pictures, and stuff, so they can be able to protect. And also with the sports sector, he's going to make sure he build 16 academic multi-purpose academic infrastructures in all the regions, because we don't know where the next Cristiano Ronaldo might come from, or the next Messi might come from. He's going to build this to help in the, and he knows that when immediately these structures are being laid down, there's going to be educational, supportive, and investors who are going to tag along to make the country work, so that it will only be that they are going to, the children who knows how to are very good at football, basketball, and stuff, are only going to be good at that, but also have education about how they can be able to help their country with this in particular. They came back to say in the music industry that is going to make sure that Ghana is able to own their own catalogs. The artists are able to own their own catalogs. They even made reference with the CBSA band, that the CBSA band, because we were not able to track, now people are taking their royalties, so that Ghanaians musicians will be awarded the right royalties in their country. In their country, bro, this is not an easy task. And when we say good governance, this is what we are expected. This is what we call a manifesto. This is what we call a manifesto. And he said this work can only be done in a period of 10 years. That one is even estimated. If only we are able to follow structure. And he's going to make sure he works with only 12 ministers. This is the summary of Nana Kwame Bediako's manifesto reading, founder of the New Force Party. It is not yet a party, it will be a party in the next 4 years. But for now, we see it to be a party, because this is a party with vision. The slogan goes, one nation, one vision. And he believes that when he's given the chance, he can be able to do all this and more. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So this is the summary of Nana Kwame Bediako's manifesto reading that he did, a long 1 hour plus video. And this is just a summary in 10 minutes. You know how we do it here. This is OG Studios. I've just brought you the summary. I'll be back with more news and more interesting facts and more news in the world of Ghana entertainment, news, politics, and everything. I'll be back. Peace out.